Look, let me start with a scene that might feel uncomfortably familiar. It's the end of the month. Your salary came in and somehow it's already gone. You're not broke, but you're also not winning. You've got a job, you're working hard, you're trying to be responsible, and yet your savings are basically stuck. Your credit card balance never really disappears, and every time someone says, just budget better, you feel slightly annoyed because, you have tried that. If you've ever thought, why does this feel so hard when everyone else makes it sound so simple? Yeah, that's literally what we're talking about today. Because here's the thing. You're not bad with money. You were taught it wrong. My name is Peter, and I spend way too much time thinking about why normal, intelligent people struggle with money. And if you're someone who earns money, pays bills, tries to save, but still feels like you're always one step behind financially, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we're going to break down why most financial advice fails, what you were actually taught about money growing up, and how to fix it, starting immediately. And fair warning, some of this might make you a little mad, but in a good way. Here is what most people were taught about money. Spend less than you earn, save what's left. Don't use debt. Work hard and things will work out. Sounds reasonable, right? Except, if this advice actually worked, most people wouldn't be struggling. Let's look at the reality. According to the Federal Reserve, nearly 60% of adults would struggle to cover a $1,000 emergency without borrowing money or selling something, and this includes people with decent incomes. That's not a discipline problem. That's a systemic misunderstanding of how money actually works. Here's what most people don't realize. Traditional financial advice assumes humans are rational. We are not. Why just budget doesn't work? Now, you might be thinking, okay, but budgeting does work. I just need to be more consistent. Look, budgeting isn't useless, but it's massively overrated. Here's why. Most budgets fail because they're built on willpower, not behavior. Let me give you an example. Say you make $4,000 a month after tax. Your budget says rent $1,500, groceries $400, transportation $300, subscriptions $100, savings $500. On paper, perfect. In real life, one bad day at work, one I deserve this purchase, one unexpected expense, and suddenly that 500 savings line becomes the sacrifice because your brain doesn't protect future you. It protects current comfort. This is called present bias, and it's one of the strongest psychological forces in personal finance. Your brain values $100 today more than $150 next month, not because you're irresponsible, but because that's how human brains evolved. Budgeting tells you what you should do, but it doesn't change what you want to do in the moment. And this is where things start to get really interesting. The real problem: order of operations. Here's what most people don't realize. You were taught money in the wrong order. Most people do this: earn money, spend money, save whatever is left, which usually means nothing is left. We call this leftover saving, and leftover saving almost never works. Wealthy people do the opposite. Earn money, automatically save and invest first, spend what remains. Same income, completely different outcome. Let's do some math. The math that changes everything. Let's say you're 25 years old. You invest $300 per month into a basic index fund, earning an average of 8% annually. By age 65, that's roughly $1.1 million. Now, here's the scary part. If you wait just 10 years, same amount, same return, but start at 35 instead, you end up with about $500,000. That's a $600,000 difference from doing nothing differently except timing. This isn't about picking stocks. It's not about being smart. It's about understanding how compound growth works. And yet, most people never experience it. Why? Because no one taught them to automate it before lifestyle inflation kicks in. Lifestyle inflation, the silent killer. Here's another thing nobody warns you about. When your income goes up, your expenses quietly follow. You don't suddenly start buying Ferraris, you just upgrade everything slightly. Better phone, better apartment, more food delivery, more subscriptions. And seeing your bank balance drop a little slower feels like progress. But the truth is, If your spending grows at the same rate as your income, you will never feel rich, ever. This is why people earning $40,000 and people earning $140,000 both feel stressed about money. The problem isn't income, it's financial structure. Why debt isn't the enemy, and when it is. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but debt is bad. I was always told to avoid it. And look, some debt is bad. High-interest credit card debt? Yeah, that's a financial emergency. But lumping all debt together is a mistake. There's a difference between consumer debt, things that lose value, and productive debt, things that increase future income or net worth. Here's a simple test. Does this debt make future you richer or poorer? A 20% credit card interest rate funding lifestyle spending? That makes you poorer. A low-interest student loan that increases earning potential? Different story. A reasonable mortgage on an appreciating asset? Also different. The problem isn't debt itself. The problem is using debt emotionally instead of strategically. The psychology of feeling poor. Let's talk about something most finance channels ignore. Money stress is emotional before it's mathematical. Two people can have the same numbers on paper and feel completely different. Why? Because financial anxiety comes from lack of clarity, lack of control, and lack of margin. When every dollar already has a job, your brain stays in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you make short-term decisions. This is why people say things like, I'll start saving when I earn more. I'll invest once things calm down. But things rarely calm down on their own. You have to force the calm structurally. The system that actually works. So let's talk about what does work. Not theory, not hustle culture, a real system. Here's a simple framework. Step 1, pay yourself first, automatically. Before you touch your money, 10 to 20% goes straight into savings or investments. No decision required. If you never see the money, you don't miss it. This bypasses willpower entirely. Step 2, create a guilt-free spending bucket. This is important. Money that's meant to be spent without shame, because deprivation causes rebound spending. When everything feels restricted, one bad day turns into financial self-sabotage. Step 3, reduce big fixed costs. Most people obsess over small expenses, coffee, subscriptions, tiny optimizations, but housing, transportation, and debt payments matter way more. Cutting $300 off rent does more than cutting three $3 coffees. Step 4, increase income strategically. Not just work more, but skills with leverage, negotiation, side income that scales. Income growth gives you margin. Margin gives you peace. The story nobody tells you. Here's a quick story. Two people graduate college at the same time. Same degree, same salary. Person A saves whatever is left. Person B sets up automatic investing from day one. 10 years later, Person A feels behind and stressed. Person B feels calm, even if life isn't perfect. Not because Person B is smarter, but because they built the right habits early. That's it. This is where it gets really interesting. Once you stop blaming yourself, everything changes. You stop asking, what's wrong with me? And you start asking, what system am I running? Money isn't about being good or bad. It's about incentives and structure. Fix the structure and behavior follows. Action steps you can take today. Here's what you can do this week. Set up one automatic transfer to savings or investing. Track only your big expenses, not everything. Create one guilt-free spending category. Learn one income-increasing skill. Stop taking financial advice from people who aren't where you want to be. You don't need perfection. You need momentum. Look, you are not broken. You weren't lazy. You weren't irresponsible. You were taught a version of money that ignores human psychology. And once you understand that, you stop feeling ashamed. You stop feeling stuck. And you start making progress that actually lasts. If this video helped reframe how you think about money, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel reach people who need this message. Subscribe if you want more honest, practical conversations about building a better financial life. And remember, you're not bad with money. You were taught it wrong. But now, you know better.